Have you ever felt like, you're just drowning in methodologies? Scrum, Lean, Kanban. Something new pops up every week, it seems.
Yeah, it's a lot. Everyone's got the answer, right?
Exactly. The answer for how your team or organization should work. But I mean, every situation's unique,
Mm,
and you end up trying to figure out what actually fits. Sometimes it really feels like forcing a square peg into a round hole, doesn't it?
absolutely. That's a common frustration.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into Disciplined Agile, or DA. Our goal here is to unpack this framework, not as like another strict rule book, but more as a flexible toolkit. Something designed to guide you in optimizing your ways of working your way out of you in a way that actually fits your context.
That context part is so crucial.
Right. See, DA isn't really just another methodology. Think of it more like a decision framework. It's built to give you choices, like shortcuts to being genuinely well-informed about how you operate, how agile you really are. It empowers you to choose. It doesn't just tell you what to do.
And that's key because, in the rush to adopt the next big thing, people forget that one size fits all just it doesn't work. Not in today's complex world. DA gets that. It starts from that basic truth. It's about empowering teams, empowering organizations to find their own best way instead of squeezing into some predefined mold.
Exactly. So we'll dig into its hybrid nature, how it blends things, its core people-first idea, how it's structured.
Those adaptable components are interesting.
Yeah, and crucially, how it can scale up from just one team, maybe, all the way to transforming a whole company. And it's not just for software teams either.
No, definitely not. It's meant to be holistic.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. If it's not just another rigid method, what is Disciplined Agile exactly?
Well, think of DA as a huge, well-organized library full of proven strategies. It's a comprehensive process decision toolkit, a knowledge base. It's like having access to the collective wisdom of, thousands of successful teams all laid out. It's designed to help individuals, teams, whole organizations streamline how they work, boost their business agility, and really optimize their ways of working. And the key phrase here is straightforward guidance. That's totally context sensitive.
So it doesn't say do X.
No, it says, okay, given your situation, here are some really effective options for achieving X, and here are the trade-offs. Here's why you might choose one over the other.
That's interesting. And where did this approach come from? What's the story behind it?
Well, it started back in 2012 with Scott Ambler and Mark Lyons. Initially, it was called Disciplined Agile Delivery, or DAD, and back then it was mostly focused on IT, delivering software solutions.
Okay.
But the vision got much bigger when the Project Management Institute, PMI, acquired DA in 2019.
Oh, right, PMI.
Yeah. That really pushed DA beyond just IT. It broadened the scope to embrace agility across the entire enterprise, all functions of a business.
And you mentioned its hybrid nature. That sounds like a really key differentiator, game changer even.
It really is.
It's not about just picking one framework like Scrum and only doing that. It actually blends practices from lots of different methodologies. Why is that mix so powerful?
Well, the real insight isn't just that it combines methods, it's that it gives you the smarts, the guidance to pick the right tool for the job, for your specific context. So many other frameworks, they're quite prescriptive, right? It's our way or the highway.
Yeah, seen that before.
And that leads to problems. Teams try to force-fit a process, and it just doesn't work. It costs time and money. DA avoids that. It draws from the best parts of lots of well-known approaches. So, for example, from Scrum, it pulls things like iterative development, sprints, roles like the product owner, stuff that helps deliver value incrementally. But it also uses ideas from Kanban, like visualizing your workflow, limiting how much work is in progress at once, and from Lean, the focus on cutting out waste, optimizing the flow of value, continuous improvement like Kaizen.
So it's picking and choosing the best bits.
Kind of, but more intelligently. It guides you on when and why to use which bit. It synthesizes them in a smart way that allows for real adaptation. And if you think bigger picture, this hybrid approach is actually what makes DA scalable.
How so?
Because it can handle both the day-to-day team stuff, tactical agility, and the bigger strategic organizational stuff. It bridges that gap that adaptability isn't just nice. It's pretty essential for dealing with the complex, messy reality most organizations face today.
Makes sense. So it's more than just tools. It's driven by this core philosophy. You said people first and learning oriented.
Exactly. It really emphasizes continuous improvement, making pragmatic choices. It encourages you to figure out your best practices, not just blindly copy someone else's dogma.
Okay, so if it's flexible, not rigid, what holds it all together? You mentioned a mindset, some principles.
Yeah, precisely. That's the foundation. The DA mindset isn't just some vague idea. It actively promotes a culture that's people first, learning oriented, and encourages disciplined agile behaviors. And crucially, it's not just for the IT folks. It's meant to reach across the whole organization, marketing, finance, HR, everywhere, emphasizing choice, context, and constantly evolving. It's a truly holistic view.
And underpinning that mindset are four key principles, like universal values that guide your choices.
That's right. Think of them as your compass. They ensure the choices you make about your process actually lead to sustainable success. First, respect people and planet. This is fundamental.
Right.
Prioritize the human side, ethical practices, sustainability, build collaborative spaces. Think about the wider impact.
Respect. Let's say.
Second, optimize value delivery. Focus on work that's efficient and actually impactful. Cut out the waste, prioritize what brings the most value. Make sure you're aligned with what stakeholders really need.
Makes sense. Less busy work, more value.
Exactly. Third is relentless improvement. This isn't optional, it's core. Commit to always learning through trying things out, getting feedback, reflecting, constantly evolve your processes and skills.
Always getting better. And the last one.
And finally, be pragmatic. This is huge in DA. Choose solutions that are realistic and fit your context, rather than sticking rigidly to some ideology. Pick what works for your situation, even if it means mixing ideas.
Right. So these principles are like your guide rails, keeping you focused on sustainable, ethical success, not just following rules blindly. They shape the culture.
They really do.
And beyond these big principles, are there more practical guidelines, things to help put them into action?
Yes, definitely. You can think of them as implied commitments or maybe practical guidelines. Things like consistently delighting customers by delivering value, collaborating proactively across teams, always reflecting and improving, making sure you contextualize your ways of working, and optimizing the flow of work from start to finish.
How do those guidelines stop teams from, say, overcomplicating things or getting stuck in old habits?
Well, they constantly push for flexibility and adaptation. DA encourages teams to always question their approach. Is this still the best way for us? Rather than just ticking boxes on a static checklist, it keeps things dynamic.
Okay, so we get the mindset, the principles. But DA sounds like it covers a lot of ground. How is all that knowledge organized so you don't just get lost in it all?
Yeah, it is a big toolkit, but it has a really clear modular structure. It's actually quite intuitive. Think of it like a well-organized library for ways of working.
A library, okay.
It's broken down into four main layers. At the base, you have the foundation layer. This holds the core mindset, the principles we just talked about, general guidelines, roles, that sort of thing. Then above that is disciplined DevOps. This layer focuses specifically on IT operations, things like release management, data management, security.
Got it. IT specific.
Then you have the value streams layer. This looks at the bigger picture of delivering value end to end, from the initial idea all the way to the customer.
Okay, the whole flow.
And at the top, there's the Disciplined Agile Enterprise, or DAE layer. This covers the high-level strategic stuff, governance, managing the portfolio of projects, big transformation efforts.
Right, so it scales from foundation up to enterprise strategy. And inside this library structure, how does DA actually present the information? You mentioned goal diagrams.
Yes, goal diagrams are absolutely central to how DA provides guidance. They're not just simple flowcharts. They start with a high-level goal, like, say, address risk.
Wow.
Then that goal breaks down into specific decision points, choices you need to make related to that goal.
Okay.
And here's the clever part. For each decision point, the diagram lists various options, different practices or strategies you could use, and crucially, it explains the pros and cons, the trade-offs for each option.
So it helps you choose intelligently.
Exactly. It empowers you to make informed choices by showing you the potential consequences based on collective experience. It's like codified organizational wisdom.
That's pretty powerful. And within this structure, there are these modular bits called process blades. What's the deal with those?
Process blades are really neat. Think of them as self-contained, modular components of how an organization works. Each blade focuses on a specific capability or business function, like finance, or marketing, or data management.
Okay, like functional areas.
Right. They're often shown as hexagons visually. And the blade analogy itself is quite insightful. It suggests a kind of plug-and-play nature.
Plug and play.
Yeah, like server blades in IT. You can update or maybe even replace one blade, improve how finance operates, for example, with minimal disruption to other parts of the organization like marketing or sales.
I see. So you don't have to rebuild the entire system just to tweak one part.
Precisely. It allows for real customization and targeted improvement without that massive overhead. Plus, the blades also show how different functions need to interact, which helps foster better collaboration across teams.
So if I just want to improve, say, our vendor management process, I can focus on that blade without messing up everything else.
That's the idea. You'd find a vendor management blade, likely in the DAE layer, or maybe a product management blade in the value streams layer, or release management in the disciplined DevOps layer. Each is a focused unit, but designed to connect and work with the others. Their whole purpose is to guide decision-making using those goal diagrams, enabling really precise, context-specific improvements.
Okay, this is starting to make a lot more sense. We've got the mindset, the structure, the tools like goal diagrams and blades. How do you actually do DA day to day? Where do you start?
It really starts with choosing the right path, the right life cycle for your specific project or initiative. DA explicitly offers multiple full delivery life cycles because it recognizes different situations need different approaches. These aren't just for IT either. They cover the whole journey from idea to delivery, and they're driven by achieving goals.
Multiple life cycles, like what?
Well, for example, a team doing fairly standard product development might choose the Agile life cycle, which is based on Scrum iterative time-boxed sprints. But another team, maybe focused more on continuous flow, like an operations team, might pick the lean life cycle, based on Kanban principles limiting work in progress, focusing on flow efficiency.
Okay, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. There are also continuous delivery life cycles, both agile and lean flavors for teams needing frequent releases with lots of automation. There's a program lifecycle for coordinating multiple teams on a big initiative, and even an exploratory lifecycle, kind of like Lean's startup for testing out new ideas.
Wow, that's quite a range.
It is, and having these choices is a perfect example of DA's pragmatic principle. Teams aren't shoehorned into a process that doesn't fit just because it's trendy. They pick what actually makes sense for them.
That's really key. And teams don't just pick one life cycle and are stuck with it forever,
Yeah.
right? You mentioned guided continuous improvement.
Absolutely. GCI is fundamental. It's about constantly learning and evolving your way of working. Teams use it to select their initial life cycle and practices, and then to continuously refine them. Often this involves techniques like PDSA cycles, plan, do, study, act. You plan a small change, you try it, you study the results, and then you act based on what you learned. It's a simple, powerful feedback loop.
So it's iterative improvement built right in.
Mm-hmm. And because DIA is so people first, it also puts a lot of emphasis on clear roles, rights, and responsibilities. It aims to build high-performing teams, typically cross-functional, stable teams that are organized around delivering value, not just functional silos.
Right, breaking down those walls. So it's not just throwing tools at people, it's empowering them within a structure.
Exactly. Teams get autonomy, the right to choose their WOW, access to resources, a safe space to experiment, and sometimes fail.
Safe to fail is important.
Very. And in return, they have responsibilities. Deliver value incrementally, collaborate well, reflect and improve, and align with the necessary governance. It creates this balanced environment, moving away from rigid command and control.
Okay, and beyond the roles and life cycles, DA pulls in actual practices too, right?
Yeah.
Scrum, Kanban, etc.
Oh yeah, hundreds of them. It curates practices from Agile, Lean, traditional methods, DevOps, you name it. And these are presented as options within those goal diagrams we discussed.
So you might see things like daily stand-ups.
Yep, daily stand-ups from Scrum, visual boards from Kanban, value stream mapping from Lean, maybe test-driven development from XP, automated deployment pipelines from DevOps. The crucial thing is they're options, not mandates. You choose them using guided continuous improvement. Start where you are, try something, measure the impact, adapt.
And there's a process to help drive that improvement.
VAP. Right, the value acceleration process. It's a simple, structured way to tackle improvements. 3 steps. First, establish outcomes. What are we actually trying to achieve? Get clear on the goal. Second, conduct discovery, understand the current situation, the problems, the context. And third, work the plan, implement changes, experiment, iterate, learn. It provides a practical cycle for making things better.
Okay, that sounds really practical.
Yeah.
So DA clearly works well for a team, maybe a few teams working together. But the big question is often about scale. Can this kind of flexibility really scale up across a large, complex organization without just turning into chaos?
That's a fair question, and yes, it's absolutely designed to scale. That's the whole point of the Disciplined Agile Enterprise DAE layer. It specifically addresses strategic agility at the organizational level. So you have tactical scaling happening at the team level using Disciplined Agile delivery, DAD, and DevOps practices.
Like the team stuff.
And then you have strategic scaling across the whole organization. This involves things like agile portfolio management, lean governance, adapting finance and HR, managing large-scale transformations, tools like value stream management, looking at the entire flow of value, and things DA calls quick starts, which are like pre-configured ways of working for common situations, help with this scaling process.
So it allows the whole organization to be more responsive.
Exactly. It helps the organization sense what's happening in the market and respond effectively, much more so than rigid, top-down, plan everything years in advance approaches. It builds enterprise-wide adaptability.
Okay, so let's boil it down. If someone listening is thinking about DA, what are the real tangible benefits for them and their organization?
Well, the benefits are pretty significant. First and foremost, flexibility. You tailor your wow-do to your unique context. You avoid those painful one-size-fits-all traps.
That alone sounds huge.
It is. And that flexibility leads directly to improved outcomes. When you make better, more informed decisions based on your context, you naturally get more efficiency, better results, superior value delivery.
Makes sense?
Then there's scalability. As we just discussed, it works from single teams right up to the entire complex enterprise. Plus, the built-in focus on learning in GCI means you get continuous improvement. This reduces risks over time and builds a culture of ongoing adaptation. You're always getting better.
And that hybrid approach.
Right, the hybrid integration.
Yeah.
It realistically combines the best tools from various methods to tackle real-world complexity head-on. You get a truly comprehensive toolkit, not just one narrow viewpoint.
Okay, this sounds really compelling. If someone's intrigued now, how would they actually get started? Is there a typical path for implementing DA?
Yeah, there's a pretty clear practical roadmap. It's not about a massive disruptive overhaul usually. Typically, you'd start by assessing your current state, understand how work flows now, maybe map your value streams, identify the real pain points in your existing way of working.
Start where you are.
Exactly. Then, it's crucial to adopt the mindset. Training people on DA's principles and values is key for it to stick. After that, you choose your initial WOW. Use those goal diagrams, consider your context, and select a starting life cycle and some initial practices.
And don't try to boil the ocean.
Definitely not. Implement incrementally. Start small, maybe with a pilot team or two. Apply guided continuous improvement from day one. Learn and adapt as you go.
Let's scale up.
Then you scale gradually, extending DA across more teams or functions, using the DAE layer concepts as needed. Often, getting help from experienced DA coaches is really valuable here. And finally, measure and improve. Continuously track relevant metrics, flow time, lead time, customer satisfaction, team morale, whatever makes sense for your goals, to ensure you're actually making progress and keep optimizing.
And you mentioned quick starts can help.
Yeah, they can accelerate the process by giving you a sensible starting configuration for common scenarios, which you then tailor.
Great. And for people who really want to dive deeper, maybe get certified.
Yes. PMI offers a whole suite of DA certifications. There's the Disciplined Agile Scrum Master, DASM, which is a great starting point. Then DASM Senior Scrum Master, the Disciplined Agile Coach, DAC, and the Disciplined Agile Value Stream Consultant, DAVC, for more strategic enterprise-level optimization.
So paths for career growth, too.
Definitely. And plenty of resources. The main book is Choose Your WOW. The second edition is out. PMI also has an online DA Browser tool, which is super helpful for exploring the toolkit, plus training workshops, coaching, lots of ways to learn more.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Disciplined Agile. We've really unpacked how it offers this refreshingly flexible, people-first, context-driven toolkit for optimizing how you work. It seems the core idea is empowering you with choices and continuous learning, moving away from that rigid dogma we often see.
Absolutely. And I think what's really fascinating here is that at the end of the day, DA isn't just about process charts and diagrams. It's fundamentally about cultivating an organizational culture, a culture of continuous learning, of adaptability, of being willing to challenge your own assumptions and always look for a better way, a way that's tailored specifically to your unique circumstances. It's about making conscious, informed choices.
That's a great final thought. It really prompts a reflection. So for everyone listening, considering DA's emphasis on pragmatism and always improving, maybe think about this. What existing best practice in your current way of working might actually be holding you back right now? And how could a more context-sensitive, DA-inspired approach perhaps unlock some new possibilities? Definitely something to mull over. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep optimizing. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it. with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.